well, we'll find out a little bit sooner than others. That's all there is to it. But the guy's got a lot of skills, you can tell.
Oh, yeah. I want to see a lot more of them. We're going to see a lot more, and they both have bright, bright futures.
So we turn our attention now to the Junior Flyweight Championship, the 108-pound championship of the world. Iván Calderón, he's the title holder. Jesús Iribe will be the challenger. It will be the third time he will have a shot at a title. So that coming up as both fighters make their way out of their dressing rooms respectively and into the ring, and Iribe will be the first to make his ring walk.
I'll tell you, they've got a world title fight coming. That's going to be a tough act to follow, a four-rounder.
No question. And you know, we said before the first bell even that fight was going to be a good fight, and sure enough, it didn't disappoint.
Calderón will be dealing with some disadvantages here tonight. Like always, it seems, he'll be giving away considerable inches in height. Iribe, the bigger man here, at 5'3", to just the 5 foot even of Calderón. Reach pretty much the same, however, as we take a look at the unified rules for a world championship fight. No standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. You know the drill. The fighter can't be saved by the bell in any round, including the last. And at the end of the 4th round is when we can get a real decision if an accidental foul causes a suspension of this fight.
So here is the challenger as he makes his ring walk, Jesús Iribe. 17-6-4 in his career with 10 knockouts. Ranked number 10, as you see in the IBF. At 108 pounds.
A real fighter. Gave Brian Viloria a pretty good go of it last year for Viloria's world championship that he held at the time. They fought in Hawaii, which is, of course, Viloria's home state. And he won 3 rounds or so along the way before losing the decision to Brian Viloria. That was his second title opportunity, having previously lost to Edgar Sosa for the championship in the year before in 2008. And here comes the champion now. Really one of the finest pure boxers, well, maybe ever. I mean, and certainly, in my opinion, I think he's the best pure boxer in the world of boxing today.
Yeah.
But Barry, 35, you know, you never know when that clock is going to tick.
Well, and that's it. A lot of fighters do get old in one day, but I don't see it with this guy. I really don't, at least not yet. And he was talking to us today about the comparison, the pound for pound. Of course, there's always that conversation, but he and Mayweather talked about as perhaps the 2 best boxers in the world. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but for the introduction, Lupe Contreras.
Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, from the theater at Madison Square Garden, this is the main event of the evening. Este es el combate estelar de esta noche, being brought to you by, presentado por Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated, en asociación con Puerto Rico's Best Boxing Promotions, Tecate, cerveza con carácter, FSN and Fox Sports en Español. This bout, 12 rounds for the WBO Junior Flyweight Championship of the World. Este combate, pactado a 12 vueltas por el Campeonato Mundial Peso Junior Mosca de la OMB. Su presidente, Francisco Paco Valcárcel, supervisor, Luis Pérez. Los jueces son, the judges are Carlos Ortiz Jr., John Stewart, and Robin Taylor. The referee, Benji Esteves, with executive matchmaker Brad E. Train Goodman. And now, ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, from New York City, New York, veremos quién es el más macho. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He steps into the ring wearing red, trimmed in blue, vestido de rojo con color azul. Detuvo la báscula a un peso oficial de 106 libras. He tipped the scales at an official 106 pounds. With a professional record of 17 victories against 6 losses, 4 draws, with 10 of his victories coming by way of knockout. A nivel profesional, mantiene un récord de 17 victorias, con 6 derrotas, 4 empates y 10 de sus victorias por la vía del knockout. Puro Culiacán, Sinaloa, México, Jesús Azul. Across the ring in the red corner, en la esquina opuesta, vestido de plateado with Boricua red, white, and blue. He steps in wearing silver in the colors of his homeland, Puerto Rican red, white, and blue. He tipped the scales at an identical 106 pounds. Detuvo la báscula a un peso idéntico de 106 libras. Since representing his homeland in the Olympics 2000, he's gone on to an undefeated professional record with 33 victories, 1 draw, and 6 of his victories coming by way of knockout. Desde que representó a su tierra natal en los Juegos Olímpicos del año 2000, se mantiene invicto a nivel profesional con 33 victorias, un empate y 6 de sus victorias por la vía del knockout. El actual campeón peso mosca junior de la OMB, the defending WBO Junior Flyweight Champion of the World, de Guaynabo, Puerto Rico, Boricua to the bone, Iván, Iron Boy Calderón.
Jesús, Iván, voy a repetir mis instrucciones. Una pelea limpia, quiero un esfuerzo profesional. Les deseo suerte a los dos y que gane el mejor token.
You see the remnants of cuts from previous fights on the eyebrows, the eyelids of Iván Boy Calderón. Will they open again tonight?
And right on, near the top of his head, too, near the scalp as well. He's confident they will not. Big ring suits him very well. He said first round he would see what Calderón, or see what Iribe had, and after that he'd know what he needed to do.
You know, one thing that is so unusual about Iván is the fact that he is a boxer who boxes from the outside, even though he is often giving away reach and height to his opponents, and is successful at doing it. Today, when we got a chance to sit down and talk with him, I said, how do you do that? I mean, how could you be the shorter guy with a way less reach than a lot of these guys and outbox them from the outside? He goes, you know, I'd like to know that myself. I'm not sure.
But we talked a lot about angles, and he said that's really the bottom line, is giving angles, not being in front, not being where his opponent expects he will be. And that's why the size of this ring is an advantage to him.
And I have seen him literally show up behind his opponent in the ring when he gets him turned around.
And he was telling us he gets knockdowns because he just gets his opponent out of position. And he may not be a power puncher, but he can knock people down, and he does.
33-0-1 in his career. The one draw, a technical draw against Rodel Mayall. They had 2 consecutive fights stopped by cuts.
Early on, a near clash of heads. And that's really something to keep an eye on in this fight.
Iribe hoping to use his size. You can see he's considerably bigger. I mean, there's no question who the bigger man is in here, and who will probably be the stronger man. But that is a common deficiency that Calderón has to deal with.
Calderón 5 feet tall, 106 pounds.
His plan to defend the 108-pound title if he's successful tonight, another couple times this year, then go up to 112 next year in the flyweight division. And if he stays at the kind of pace that he has been recently and stays just as talented, then there's no reason he can't have success in that division either.
I mean, even here in this first round, he's just doing, you know, the most classic thing, which is hit and don't be hit.
Suelten limpio los dos.
Got to be a very frustrating guy to fight.
Well, you're going to be swinging at air a lot.
End of 1. Round number 2. Calderón, the silver trunks, Iribe in the red.
The Mexico versus Puerto Rico rivalry revived
Yes,
again.
And there have been many great ones.
And for the past few years, the Puerto Rico Day weekend and parade has been pretty much the property of Miguel Cotto. He's been the star.
Yep.
But he got it started a week early with his victory over Yuri Forbin, and now on the eve of the Puerto Rican Day parade, it is Iván Calderón who gets the starring spot.
Lead right that time, and he came with the left hand. So Calderón duck under 2 punches.
That's what I mean about punching at air. I mean, and there's the frustration, Barry, that you're talking about. He is so relaxed in there, Calderón.
He's just a craftsman. You know, it may not bring you out of your seats, but it's a pleasure to watch. Well, there was a right hand slipped in by Iribe.
Iribe not doing a good job of cutting off the ring. And that's difficult with Calderón, but Calderón just circling around, making use of all 20 feet of this ring.
Right hand, and it dropped Calderón.
I don't even think that was on the chin. It looked to me like it hit him up high on the shoulder, but it's a real knockdown. It was a real punch.
Did not appear to hurt Calderón, but nonetheless, give it up for Iribe. Certainly would be a confidence builder for him.
Now that is a rarity. We'll have to see the replay to see if that actually clipped him on the chin, but I thought it got him up high on his shoulder.
I thought it did get there, but we'll see.
But there was a punch, and you could hear it land, and he hit the deck.
Yes, he did.
Calderón said in his first fight with Hugo Cazares that he got caught early in that fight, and he was dizzy. And it took him a few rounds to get himself together.
Yeah. He does not appear to me to be hurt here. I think it was a flash knockdown, but it was a knockdown.
It was definitely right hand to the chin.
And Calderón jumped up immediately. He was not hurt, does not appear to be hurt, but as we said, going away, it's a knockdown, and it gives Calderón the round, and probably a 10-8 round.
He's not the type to panic, though. He'll just go right back to his game plan. But as he told us today, I always have plan A, plan B, plan C.
Yeah.
Other fighters have plan A, and they don't have anything else.
He took another right hand right there.
And it's interesting because just moments before I had said that Iribe, in my opinion, had not been doing a good job of cutting off the ring. And even in that case, Calderón was sliding away from him.
Yeah.
And he lunged at him and got there with it. Which, as a bigger man, sometimes you can do that.
Yeah, Iribe certainly looks bigger than a junior flyweight. I know it's all relative compared to Calderón. Saw Calderón with a nifty move there, spun his man, then hit him the right hand.
Iron Boy said he was contemplating a new nickname, though.
Yeah.
After all these years, he's decided maybe Iron Boy is not the right nickname. He thinks maybe the Profesional.
Yeah.
Or the Professor.
El Professor. Again, a moment ago, a near clash of heads. It's always something that you have to be aware of in a Calderón fight.
Last 3 fights have been bloodbaths for Calderón. Calderón doing what he does, Raul.
Yeah.
Moving around that ring again. I don't see Iribe doing a good job of cutting off the ring because it's just a circular move around that ring that Calderón's been able to do. He's looking to have the same kind of lightning Iribe is. Now Calderón circles the other way.
But Calderón, I mean, he moves. He's not a runner. You can't call him a runner because he throws a lot of punches. And here again, I think he did enough to win this round. And a 3. Round 4. 12 rounds for Calderón's junior flyweight championship. Iribe dropped Calderón in the second round.
And he was maybe thinking that his prediction of this week, you know, he's been very brash and pretty confident. I mean, he said, I'm fighting for a world title. I expect him to run from me. I'm going to catch up to him, beat him, and be a big hero in Mexico.
Yeah, that's what he said. That got Calderón's attention, too.
Iribe, for his part, has a very good chin himself. He's only been stopped once in his career. Both of his title fights that he's had have been decision defeats. Barry, you were starting to make the point, and then the introductions kind of got in our way here earlier about, I believe that Calderón is the best pure boxer in boxing, and you brought up the point of Floyd Mayweather, which Calderón himself did, but he says he won't put himself number one. Maybe they're 1 and 1A because they do it in different ways. He said.
Yeah, he said Mayweather does it with movement. Calderón said he does it with his legs.
And when he was saying movement, he was meaning upper body movement.
Exactly.
Oh, there's a clash of heads, Barry.
Yeah,
there it is.
They are. No cut though.
Gotta hold your breath now in these Calderón fights when that happens. Mayweather, with all of that, of course, incredible upper body movement, shoulder movement. He can stand right in the pocket and elude punches from him. Calderón, you're seeing the display that he talked about with his legs.
And then he steps in, throws 3-punch combination, gets out. I mean, he's got to wear an opponent out just by his opponent having to chase him all the time. There's a wild right hand from Iribe.
And of course, also tiring and fatiguing. It's very fatiguing for punchers to miss, swing and miss, and swing and miss. And that's what happens to a lot of Calderón opponents.
There was a right hand to the head that landed from Iribe.
Up, hitting on the break there. And Benji Estevez, referee, will have a word with each.
Come to the end of round number 4. And again, it's just too much Calderón. Round 5 of this 12-round championship fight.
And you're seeing swinging and missing. You saw strike 1 and strike 2 there by Iribe. Calderón, the consummate boxer, but did get caught one big time. And he also got hit a good right in that last round as well. But not enough, I don't think, for Iribe to win the round.
That's the thing. It's just one punch. Quick left hand. Now Calderón moving to his left. Every punch that Iribe does get Calderón with, he still is reaching. Calderón just doesn't let you set down a punch. Nice combination from Calderón. A little swelling under the right eye now of Iribe.
Calderón certainly a young 35. Turned pro in 2001, so he was 26 at the time.
Very quick-handed, great legs, and beginning to really dictate this fight. Nice right hand. 3 misses from Iribe.
Calderón came in here tonight thinking that this might be one of the rare fights where he could score a knockout victory.
Iribe finally gets on top of Calderón, but even then cannot do a lot of business.
See Calderón just kind of throw that left hand out there. Sometimes he uses it as a good offensive weapon. Sometimes it's just a rangefinder. Sometimes he just keeps throwing it out there to kind of hypnotize you. You get to watching that, and then that left hand cross follows right behind it.
Come to round number 6 of this 12-round fight. We're in New York City at Madison Square Garden. Iván Calderón, junior flyweight champion, putting his title on the line against Jesús Iribe of Culiacan, Mexico.
Calderón, when he was the 105-pound champion, made 11 successful defenses of that title. He's made 5 successful defenses of this one, hoping to make it 6, and 17 title defenses in the lower weight classes. Would like 3 more before moving up to 112.
He's the kind of guy he'll have to actually bulk up to get to 112.
He really didn't come close to making the 108-pound limit. And he said, I'd fight Jorge Arce at 115.
Yeah, he said they've talked about it because both recognize, as you pointed out earlier, that there are not a lot of big money fights amongst guys in this weight division. And I think Arce and Calderón would be a really entertaining fight that could generate some money.
There's another fighter who's been calling out Calderón has been Giovanni Segura, who's made quite a splash on our series here on Fox Sports Net on our Top Rank Live series. He's been on twice, 2 successful knockout championship victories for him. And he, in our post-fight interview, the first time we talked to him, he just flat out called out Calderón.
Yeah. I mean, I think Calderón would be tough on an opponent regardless of the weight division. I mean, you still got to catch him.
And to be honest, Iribe's already had more success than most of his opponents.
He has.
The one time I picked against Calderón was when he fought Hugo Cazares, who I just thought was going to be too strong for him, just in terms of his strength. But
nice combination again. Just that really quick jab, and then he brings the left hand right behind it. There it is again.
Iribe's starting to walk into punches now.
Come to the end of round number 6, and Again, it's the same story all over again. Too much Calderón. So we're past the halfway point, round number 7 now. Barry Tompkins, Rich Murata alongside. We are at Madison Square Garden in New York. Iván Calderón putting his junior flyweight title on the line against Jesús Iribe of Mexico.
Oh, why did he wind up with that left hook, Iribe?
And there he was. And of course, Iribe says, come on, come on, come on in. This is exactly what Iribe wants. I doubt that Calderón will oblige him. Wild right hand misses. Calderón was down. That was in the second round, but it was a brief fleeting moment for Iribe, as he's been unable to do virtually any business since then.
And Calderón remained as calm as could be in the face of unusual adversity for him.
Yeah.
Look at what Calderón's doing here. Willie Pep, if he was here, would be nodding approvingly.
Yeah.
God bless him.
Calderón, he just, I would imagine, really would frustrate you. So Calderón again just doing enough to win every round. And I think he did it again in this one.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. No delays.
Round number 8. And Calderón, since being knocked down in the second round, is dominated.
The problem,
That's a push.
he just kind of flailed at him with his left hand, threw him down. One problem is if you can get one punch in on Iván, you usually can't get that follow-up shot, Barry. And so you have to be satisfied with the one punch. Iribe has at times been able to land that one shot, even outside of the knockdown blow. But he can't land that second and third one that can really cause the damage and slow down his opponent. If someone could get close enough to Iván to where they could force him to fight inside a little and do damage to the body, maybe to take those wheels away from him, then you would get more competitive fights for Calderón. But as long as he's allowed to wheel around the ring the way that he does.
Well, and he just gives you so many different looks. And again, the thing you got to like about him is, you know, he's not just on his bike. He's not, certainly not in any kind of survival mode. He out-punches his opponent while he's doing that. This is a perfect example. There's a 4-punch combination.
Iván Calderón will never be at the top of the pound-for-pound list. He's in a lot of these pound-for-pound lists in that like 9th or 10th spot. But the lack of power will keep him from being #1 in terms of 2 or 3 or 4 or 5.
Right.
But I tell you, you're just not going to find a better boxer.
No, absolutely not. And, you know, there's no faulting it. You know, as I said earlier, it may not bring people. There was a good right hand. He actually cut the ring on him that time.
Yeah, but can he follow up?
There you are. I started to say, I mean, he's not a guy who brings you out of your seats, but you just have to sit back and appreciate it, you know, like a violinist. And again, Iribe got a right hand to the body, but too little. Round 9. I'm sure at Iribe's corner, they're giving him the puncher's chance, and I'm sure he feels that way too.
Suéltalo, suéltalo, suéltalo limpio.
Hey, he's got a pretty good punch. I mean, he has knocked out more than half of his opponents. And he did flash that power early in this fight to where he became one of the very few people to be able to put Iván Calderón down on the canvas.
And again, as soon as they get inside, Calderón ties him up.
But, you know, outside of scoring a knockdown, how do you take a round from the guy?
Exactly. And interestingly enough, Calderón was talking to us today about how he will take rounds off. But even a round that he takes off, he wins.
Now, you see the frustration there. He's getting a little wild. Iribe. He's trying to throw with power on every punch.
Yeah. Those take a lot out of you, actually. He did get there with the left hand to the body, but he missed the right hand before it.
And there's an example of the smaller guy with the shorter arms being able to out-jab a bigger, taller, more rangy fighter.
That shouldn't happen, should it? A looping left hand from Calderón. I mean, this is just a lesson. I mean, this is brilliant stuff, this round.
Clinic time.
And you know, there is a cut over Calderón's left eye. There is some blood now. Can't tell if it's above it or alongside it. And I believe that was caused by an accidental headbutt earlier.
And there's the one punch almost per round that Iribe is able to land. That one a strong right hand.
And there was another one, but again, one only. That's a thing of beauty. Round 10 of this 12-round championship fight. And Iribe now in that mode of just trying to hope you catch one.
And you could tell in the corner of Iribe is that they still feel he has a chance. Not to win a decision, of course. He's hopelessly behind on the cards, but to be able to land a big shot, because he lands one or two almost every round, and he did score the one knockdown. So they feel that he has a chance to dramatically turn things around, but always the combinations and just flat-out brilliance in terms of skill of Calderón makes it hard.
Yeah, I mean, he'll get in there, throw 3-4 punches. Here he ties his man up when he gets in close quarters. Those were a fighter out.
Perhaps El Matador, since they're starting to yell Olay.
Yeah, you're
now.
right. Now the crowd is really picking it up.
I'm happy to see a crowd appreciate boxing.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. How could you not, though? I mean, if you're any kind of an aficionado of this sport, even if you just have a passive interest in the sport of boxing, you really have to appreciate what this guy does.
You know, if you look at him, the way he's moving around, it could be round one.
Oh,
Billy.
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we're in the 10th round. Look how fast he's moving, ducking, becoming, if anything, sharper.
Narrow reaching left hand by Iribe. Crowd is really starting to appreciate this performance. This is an example of one of those rounds that Calderón is kind of taking off, but still will win the round.
All right, let's take a look at the Nureyev of boxing. And that is Iván Calderón. Beautiful moves, combinations. He's not really a dancer, but he is a mover. I think gentleman Jim Corbett termed the words scientific boxing.
Yes.
And that's what we're watching.
All right, let's go, seconds out.
Let's go, let's go.
Well, Calderón certainly will go down as one of those guys amongst the people that you mentioned, Willie Pep, Gene Tunney, gentleman Jim Corbett.
And Iribe, to his credit, I mean, he is just loading up, Barry, and he is trying to just make something happen, to force it to happen.
And that's not a knockdown.
You know, I thought that was a knockdown.
Pretty close. There was a punch involved there. It's not going to make Calderón brave, I can promise you.
I thought there was a little quick right hand that he just turned over.
And again, see, every time they get in close quarters, Calderón ties him up. And whatever that cut was earlier on Calderón, they have successfully stopped the bleeding. Of course, got Miguel Diaz in his corner, great cut man.
Oh, I think Iribe wanted to slug him there when he got caught up between the ropes.
And we talked about taking the round off. I thought he took the last round off. This round, I think he's doing a lot more. But the results of the round are the same.
Well, he's lost precious few rounds in his career. The guy Rodel Mayol, in the 2 fights that they had, though, fought very well against Calderón. They're 2 pretty good fights. So it's too bad the cuts ended both of them prematurely.
Another wild left hand. Missed with 2 more shots.
The question anytime a fighter like this steps into the ring at the age of 34 or 35 is, will this be the night?
Well,
will this be the night he turns old? The emphatic answer tonight, no.
No, absolutely not.
Es el último nada, compadre. Es el último nada. Tienes que atacarlo, tienes que atacarlo. Lo digo como si fuera ganando la pelea, pero hay que soltarlo. Tú tienes que ir adelante. 3 minutos, sí. Aquí no te tienes que... Mejor, más loco venga, mejor para vos. Okay. Vamos a torear, no te dejes.
Último asalto, buena suerte.
Well, there's a frustrated fighter, to be sure. As you look at Iribe. And we cover the 12th and final round. Iribe just chasing him. Calderón ties him up. Two counter right hands from Calderón.
The fighters, after they fight Calderón, invariably their faces are puffed up and bruised. And they must wonder when they get back and look in the mirror, how did that happen?
I don't remember
with a guy that
getting
can't punch.
There was a right hand from Iribe, but again, one only.
2 left hooks to the body by Iribe. I think eventually it's going to be someone who's able to get to Calderón's body. That may lead to his demise someday. But
someday, right? And
who knows what year that will be.
Well, that's true. And I also think he's the kind of guy, when he feels things go, he's not going to be a guy to hang around.
Personally, I'd love to see that Segura Calderón fight. If it could ever be made, I think it would be good business down the line. Maybe it's too soon for that right now. Now there's frustration.
Yeah.
But you know, you'd have an ultimate slugger in Segura, who's certainly an unrefined fighter, and then the ultimate refined fighter here in Calderón.
That would be an interesting fight. I would like to see the fight. But based on what I've seen of both guys at this point, I would have to think this guy right here wins the fight.
You'd have to think Segura's not quite ready yet.
Right.
Well, this has just been a beautiful boxing exhibition.
Aren't they all?
And I have seen crowds boo this kind of boxing before, or be bored by it. That is not the case here.
No. Well, this is, as we said earlier, it's a really knowledgeable crowd here at the Garden.
Many of the fans, I'm looking throughout the crowd here at Madison Square Garden, are standing and cheering, clapping their hands. I mean, it's just been a beautiful thing to watch.
Yeah, they should do that. It's a virtuoso performance. Final 10 seconds of the fight.
Very impressive.
It's over, and there's no doubt as to the outcome. be in the hands of the judge. I feel comfortable in saying the champion will still be the champion. We'll come back with the decision.
Score the bout identically at 118 to 109. Damas y caballeros, después de 12 vueltas, los jueces Ortiz y Taylor entregan tarjetas idénticas de 118 a 109. And Judge Stewart scores at 116 to 111. El juez Stewart anotó 116 a 111. Para el vencedor por decisión unánime, for the winner by way of unanimous decision. And still, WBO Junior Flyweight Champion of the World.
Well, I tell you, I mean, you and I are around this sport an awful lot. I mean, this guy is a true champion, fought like a true champion, has fought everybody that is willing to stand in front of him, and he's not done dancing yet.
No, a long way from that. We'll see him again. He hopes in August, defending his title again. He said, maybe I'll, be able to unify the belt before he moves up to flyweight. Been a great night, Barrett. We saw that great victory for Okada over McWilliams Arroyo on a shocking upset, and then this, as you termed it, virtuoso performance.
So that brings us to the close of this issue of Top Rank Live. For my partner, Rich Murata, I'm Barry Tompkins. So long, everybody.